Today we are interviewing Kathy Ritchie and Janice Blaylock. Today's date is May 14th, 2022. The interview in which you're about to participate is part of the Wood County Historical Commission's project to record the history of the common schools of Wood County. The content of this interview will focus on your experience at Cartwright, Common School number 5. What are your parents' names?
Ralph and B. Whatley.
And how do you spell her name?
B-E-A.
What was your father's occupation?
Farmer.
And what schools did y'all attend in Wood County?
Cartwright and then Quitman.
What was the highest grade taught at Cartwright?
8th grade while we were here.
Do you know how the school got its name?
From the Cartwright community, which was named after a Mr. Cartwright.
How old were you when you started school?
We were probably 6 because we just started in the 1st grade. Don't you think?
Do you remember what year you started?
I started in 1955.
And I was 2 years behind her, so.
How did you get to school each day?
Sometime we rode a bus.
But not in the mornings, Dad and Mom.
Well, usually they took us, but
Yeah, I didn't ride the bus, but once
Yeah.
in a while.
right.
Did the school have a lunchroom?
Yes.
Auditorium?
Yes.
Was there ever a tornado or fire or anything that damaged the school?
I don't remember
Not that I know
one.
of.
And about what time did school start in the morning?
8
As far as I remember, 8.
and over with at 3.
I don't remember what time it was over with, but I would guess around
3 or 3:15, yeah.
Did you ever have to miss school to work at home or in the field?
No.
Do you remember any of your teachers?
Yes.
Did you have any male teachers?
Yes.
Could you tell any of their names and the grades?
Mr. McWhorter, 7th and 8th grade. Mr. Wallace, 5th grade.
Ethel White was my 1st grade teacher, probably 2nd. My 3rd grade teacher was Louise.
I don't know.
If I knew these questions ahead of time, maybe I could have looked them up. Let's see. 4th grade teacher was Miss Lindsay, C.S. Lindsay's wife.
Mm-hmm.
And then C.S. Lindsay taught the 5th and 6th grade when I was in school, and then Mr. Porter, 7th and 8th. It was Miss.
Did you ever pull any tricks on your teachers?
I don't remember any. They probably did.
Do you have any funny or interesting stories or anything you'd like to say about any of your teachers?
I will say with Mrs. White, we had prayer before we started school. We had the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. We sang Texas, or Texas, and Holy, 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 the religious song. And we many times had America the Beautiful. And she would have different students come and stand by her as we sang. And very, very good lady.
What were some of the supplies that you had to bring to school?
Well, paper and pencils and
Ruler.
rulers, notebooks sometimes.
Who were some of your friends?
Mary Mills and Judy Swan.
Terry Swan, Larry Stevens, Sylvia Mills,
Steve Riley.
Steve Riley. And
He goes to this church.
Yes, he does.
I know him. I taught at Mineola with him.
Yes.
in first grade, Gayleen Browning was one of my best friends. Ricky Stevens. Who we met? Jerry Powell.
Do you know Charles Swan?
Yes,
I know
from
him,
Quitman,
yes.
yes. He was our,
I think he went to Lone Grove.
Probably.
yeah, he was a coach, and he had a son that was in my son's grade.
Oh, yes, Craig.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Swan was one of my teachers at Mineola.
Really?
Yes, super guy. Were there any outbuildings with this school?
Not when we went here. I might have been
Where was the playground?
right in front. There were swings and a merry-go-round.
And up here on the hill, we could play
Basketball. There were basketball
and then
goals
baseball was over
in the
this
corner.
area.
What did you do at recess?
Played baseball, or most of the kids did, or we played on the swings, or played chase, or just ran around.
Do you remember if there were any special programs or parties at Christmas?
We always had a play. Plays were very important. We'd have sometime a play in November around Thanksgiving, and a Christmas play, and then an end of school play. And all the kids were in it, and we all had long parts to remember. But that was something that they did every year.
And also in baseball, when you mentioned that, when I was in school, we had Coke in Lone Grove, and we all, on Fridays, we would play baseball
at one of the schools.
in one of the schools, and that was something the kids all enjoyed.
When my dad was at New Hope, they played softball.
Well, that's what they played here.
And he remembers actually coming to Cartwright on a bus to play here.
Yeah, they would.
That would have been the late 40s.
Yeah, they would take the bus.
And we also had an end of school stew that was every year.
Yes.
I think that was the only time, was at the end
I
of
think
school.
so. I think they
And
had
who made this stew?
Well, our grandpa did, and
it was Piercy Whatley and Mr. Rayleigh, didn't
yeah,
he
probably Mr. Rayleigh.
help? Steve's grandpa.
Yeah.
So did Steve Rayleigh go to this school?
Yes.
Was there a graduation program?
Yes, but it alternated between this school and Coke and Lone Grove. They all graduated together because there weren't that many
Right.
students.
And mine was here.
Yeah, mine was at Lone Grove.
Were there any activities at the end of the year for parents, like at the stew? Were there other things that went on?
I don't remember any.
Was there an organization for parents, like PTA?
I don't remember that
No.
either.
So what sport teams were there? for the
Ba-
school?
Baseball was the
Yeah,
only-
baseball and basketball.
Did they? I don't
Yeah.
remember the basketball kids going to the other schools, but they could have.
Yeah, I think they did. And
Did
then
y'all play?
played basketball, not
Betty, no.
And then we had track. I remember us going to Winsboro
Yes,
in
we
a
had track.
competing in a track meet.
And I won a lot of the track activities, yes. Forgot about track. Good thing you remembered that.
How was your school heated?
Wood? Is that wood in there, or was that something else?
It must have been wood. I don't remember. It was very warm.
We had big stoves
Yes.
at the end of a room.
I don't remember anybody bringing wood in there, though.
No, it may have
It
been.
might have been a gas stove.
May have been. I'm not for sure.
I kind of think it might have been a gas, but it was a big one.
Yeah.
And how was it cooled?
It wasn't. Windows up. And we would sometimes have a fan in the classroom.
If you got hurt at school, who treated you if you skinned your knee or elbow?
Probably a teacher. I don't
There
remember.
were a couple times that I was hurt, and someone from the school went to my parents' house, and one of the times they were not there, and they went to my grandma who just lived down there, and let them know.
Do you remember any particular rule that you had to follow at school?
Mhm. Well, we just did whatever the teachers told us to do. I mean, I can't.
I know we couldn't run down that
Oh,
hallway.
yeah, you couldn't run in the
But-
school.
Everyone did what, everyone was well disciplined. No one really
So what was discipline like?
being kind to everyone
You just-
and respected your teacher.
Respected the building. You didn't mess it up.
And all the class, for my part, and I think Kathy would say the same, all the classmates were extremely bonded because we had some difficult times. We all had to either work in the fields or we had things that were hard on us, so we all understood and shared a common bond. So,
Sure.
That's awesome.
you know, and even now, these students that we went to school with, we love them unbelievable, and
We still have contact.
we were like a family here, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We all were here for each other.
Did you bring your lunch?
Sometimes I did later on.
Yeah.
We also had a little store up here, Alonzo store,
Lonzo Lunsford.
Lunsford, and we would go and get candy or something, and a Coke for lunch, but not real often. And that was about a quarter for a
Probably
Coke and candy.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna
what
say,
would you bring your lunch in? If you
Just a
brought
paper
lunch?
sack.
I don't remember bringing mine, but
Were there any awards given at the end of the school year?
If you didn't miss any days, because I've got mine, or if you made all A's, just paper that they gave out. I don't remember anything else, do you?
Do you remember your daily routine, like what you started off the day with and ended the day with?
Do you?
pretty much would.
Well, he's what?
Oh, well, I mean, like, you,
Well, you had a round table at the end of each room, and they would call the first grade to come back to the round table, and that teacher would teach them.
the first through the fourth would be in
Yeah,
here.
and then teach them what they need to know, and then second grade, third, fourth. I remember reading and math was like right that morning sometime. Afternoon was science, and then we had a recess
We'd recess in the afternoon.
in the afternoon, and lunch was around 12, and then did we not have a recess in the morning? We did,
I
didn't
think
we?
we had a recess in the morning too.
Not long, but I
How
believe
long was lunch?
about an hour, I think.
Enough to play?
Yeah, but the lunches weren't always here. That's when we brought our lunch. We didn't have someone to cook the meals. I don't
So,
think the
yeah.
last year I was here.
Yeah, before I left, I'm 2 years, I said 2 years behind her a while ago. I think I'm 2 years older than her. So I started to school, well, 2 years before you did,
Yeah.
that was correct. But yeah, we had a lunchroom that I remember all the time I was here.
And what school did you attend after leaving Cartwright?
Quitman,
And how did you get there?
bus,
And what year did you graduate? from Whitman?
67.
65.
What would you like for people to remember about Cartwright and going to school here?
It was a special time, I think, because country schools were so much different than the schools in town. We didn't have a lot of what they had, but I think we all learned so much individual attention from the teachers. And as you're in a room with 3 other classes, what they're teaching those classes, you hear that and you're learning that too. So I think that helped. But
And even though you may think that you don't learn as much in country schools, at least in the time frame of kids that I knew, my older sister was salutatorian, I was salutatorian, Kathy was an honor graduate, Sylvia Mills, that was my best friend, she went to Winsboro, but I believe she was 2nd or 3rd in her class. Mary Mills, her sister that was in Kathy's grade, if I remember right, she graduated with honors. Terry Swan, who I graduated here but went on to Winsboro, he was extremely bright, went on to college.
I think we all turned out to be pretty good students.
But the love that the teachers showed us, the love from the students, the Christian attitude in this school, to me made such a difference. I don't think you get that in schools now, but I think that was something that was...
And we were all poor.
Yes.
You know, most of the parents were farmers. We all worked in the field, so there wasn't any, we all dressed alike. A lot of us didn't have indoor plumbing.
No.
When we started school, which we didn't.
We were not bullied here. Everybody, or I didn't feel like we were, because everybody understood we're going through the same difficulties. So But
I think we didn't realize they were difficulties. Everybody was...
It's just a way of life. We didn't realize there was a different way of life maybe until
when we went to Quitman High School.
Yes. And, but there's some difficult times, you know, and we get with those classmates and we laugh about using it, you know, not having running water in the inside bathroom, you know, but it was just, anyway.
That's so interesting. Is there anything you would like to add?
Well, one thing this doesn't really, it's just kind of a family thing, but you mentioned if there was ever any tornado damage here. This was a school that my daddy had anxiety about tornadoes, and he watched the weather really closely. So if it was really coming a bad storm, he was up here to pick us up.
And we went to the storm cellar at my grandparents' house.
Which is where she lives now, my grandmother's home. And the kids all knew it, and many of them kind of wished they could just come on with us, you know. Mm-hmm. But for a school to let that happen and to care that much, and I know you can't just turn everybody loose, but that meant a lot to me.
Definitely. Well, we thank both of you so much for your time helping us save these stories in this chapter in Wood County's history. They're so important, and you are important in your contribution for these stories. And we just appreciate your time this morning, and we're honored to get to listen to them.